this speech, which starts right here, is Venus, okay, appearing to Aeneas. Okay, so she's pretty much telling him to get out of there, right? And she's going to convince him by showing him, like, all the things, you know, that he should be thinking about because of his great devotion to his duty, that he's obviously not thinking about, you know, when he kind of makes the decision there standing at the altars. Okay, so he starts out in the vocative saying, like, son, or you having been born, right? So this is talking about Aeneas. Okay, so you would think this should be qui, right? But Vergil's taking some liberty here. Why, I don't know. But it's acting with it like an interrogative adjective, so it's nominative, and it goes with tantus dolor. Okay, so like these three go together, and then this indominitas, eros goes together, and that's the accusative. So you got what such great sadness oh, hold on, that's not right. Yeah, what such great sadness. This says grief, anger, pain, passion. So we could say what so great grief excites your untamed angers. Like, basically, you don't have control of your emotions and you need to, like, get control of yourselves. You could translate, like, this as what? Like, remember quis quid? Like the interrogative pronoun? So you could say, and make it the accusative. So, what do you rage at? Or and this word literally means whither, like WHITHER, or where on earth. So where on earth has the care okay, and then this is like a dative of reference. Literally, it's like, where has the care of me, this is an objective genitive, whoops. Fled, like, your care of me fled for you. That's kind of weird. So I also said, like, also put in parentheses, like, where has your care for me gone? It's like, not literally what it says, but that's what it's talking about. It says to be is an ethical dative or a dative of reference. So you could say, where or whither has your care of me gone? I guess that might be a cleaner way to say it. Okay, then we get this parade of indirect questions starting here. That's why all these suckers are subjunctive. Okay, but it starts with SPGS as our main verb. So you're going to say, surely first you will see where, and then go down to this liqueris, it's perfect subjunctive, you have left your father Anchises tired because of age. Comma, and then you got this is what this NE is like, what introduces the next indirect question. Or whether your wife Creusa survives, or whether your wife Creusa and the boy Ascanius and your son Ascanius survives. Okay, then the note says to put this kirkun back up here in the beginning. It says around all those who the Greeks are, or the Greek battle lines are wandering on all sides. So I guess you could switch that around and say the Greek battle lines are wandering around all of those on all sides. So it's talking about these people, it's like Creusa, Anchises, and Ascanius. So basically she's saying that it's your responsibility to make sure that your people are safe. And right now they're not. Because you're sitting here, paralyzed by fear. Okay, then you got some conditionals here. So this ni is like if not. It's the shortened form of nizzy. So, if my care should not protect them. This is present subjunctive, so it should, would, right? Now, the flames would have carried them, and the hostile sword literally this means would have drunk in their blood, but you could say would have destroyed them. So this says this is a dative of reference. Or an ethical dative, whatever that means. This is a genitive, and it's also one of those patronymics, right? So patronymics where you name the father to talk about the offspring. So the daughter of Tyndareus was who? Yeah, Helen. And I think when you translate, you would just say Helen. Okay? And this is genitive describing Helen. So that's the nominative. And then we got two nominatives here. And then we got an adjective describing facies right here. So I'm wondering if I think you have to stick an est in here. So I said, it is not the face of the Lacana is another word for Spartan. So it is not the face of Spartan Helen. And then I made Enwisa and Tibby go together. Hated by you. Or like blamed Paris. This is a PPP, right? Okay, and then these D wombs are all D war room. D war room. Okay. So they're obviously genitive. So it is the inclementia, the harshness. So I guess we should put an est back here. It is the harshness of the gods. Comma, of the gods. Like she's so upset she's shaking her hand at the gods. This says it's rhetorical repetition emphasizing that it is the vengeance of the gods, not Helen's beauty, which is responsible for the destruction of Troy. Juno and Minerva were vengeful towards Troy because of the judgment of Paris, while Neptune was angry at being cheated by Laomedon. So, like, everybody hated Troy. It's kind of like how everybody hates Houston and we still win. So this is the subject of this awertet right here. So the decree overthrows these resources and lays low Troy from its summit, or from its peak. So he's saying, like, don't blame Helen, don't blame Paris. You know, there are larger forces here, but all the more reason for you to go and, like, you know, follow your fate and found a new city. Like, there's no sense in saving it because it's not what the gods will. The gods will for you to go find somewhere else to be. Okay, then we got an imperative here. So it's like, look. Okay, so you gotta go all the way down here to find your verb after that. Okay, and it's Venus talking. So, and it's future. So, for, I will snatch away, or it's like, I will snatch away all, okay, look at this, the mist. So is that like hyperbaton on steroids? Okay, then you got a relative clause, which, talking about the mist, now having been drawn over and then I think that takes the dative. Because this talks about the mist, but this is talking about Aeneas. And it's dative. So, having been drawn over the one gazing, or you gazing, it's a PAP. So, like, these go with themselves right here, kind of. Even though this is ablative. It's like this is the object. Tuenti is the object of abducta. So, which dims the human sight, like your sight, your eyes, for you. So this to be is a dative of reference. and which spreads a dark mist, that's this right here, around you. Okay, the verb for this next phrase is on the next line. It's time. Okay, and it's another imperative. So it'd be like fear like you fear, I guess. Well, hold on. So I guess it'd be like ne time. Remember how we talked about like ne time would be kind of like noli timere, except we're in poetry, so that screws everything up. So I guess it'd be like don't, or you, emphatic, like emphatic you, talking about Aeneas. Don't fear anything of the use on the next line, the commands of your parent, talking about Venus. Nor refuse, so this is another imperative, refuse to obey, and that takes the dative, that's the dative, her advice or her instructions. Obey her instructions. Here, where you see the structures having been torn down and the stones having been torn from the rocks, and smoke rising, look at the synchesis here, with mixed dust, right, to show that it's literally like being mixed. Okay, so the verb for this next part's on the next line. So we got Neptune shakes the walls and the emota fundamenta on the next line, and the upheaved foundations. Is upheaved a word? Or you could say the foundations upheaved by his mighty dent. Jeez, can't talk. So this would be and he uproots the whole city from its seats. He said, Neptune and Apollo had built the walls of Troy for Laomedon, father of Priam. When the work was finished, Laomedon not only refused to pay the gods and the price agreed upon, sounds like someone else we know, but expelled them from his kingdom. Neptune is now getting his revenge by destroying the walls that he built. We should build walls. Okay, here, most savage Juno first holds the Scaean, Scaean, gates. And having been girded with iron, okay, that's talking about Juno. Raging, still talking about Juno. She calls the Allied troops from the ships. Now, Tritonian Palace that just means that like she was a Triton. Okay, so Tritonian Palace. We're like directly addressing her. Whoops. Look back. Well, no, I guess we're not. I guess that is the nominative. So it's like, maybe it's like now, look back, comma, Tritonian Palace sits on the highest citadels gleaming with her fringe and savage Gorgon. I think we're going to stop